Hello, welcome to Monday Night Live. It's Yvonne from Women's Fitness Adventures. You might have seen me last week almost every day coming to you from the end of our Great Ocean Road hiking adventure or fitness adventure. And what a time we had. But now I'm back home in sunny Queensland and ready to share some of my insights from the trail, but also some really important things about our preparation for going on adventures, and whether those adventures are close to home or far away, there's something that we can all do to prepare ourselves to make our next experience in the great outdoors even more enjoyable than what it currently is. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Yvonne Shepherd. I am the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures. We are now in our 9th year, well, moving close to our 10th year of being an organisation that encourages women and gives women the skills to have a great time in the great outdoors. And I know if you're watching, some of you are way ahead of me. Please, if you're watching, let me know. I know our members always say hello, where you're watching from. And if you're not a member, or if this is your first time watching, please give us a drop in the chat with a comment. We can't see you. I can just see a count of eyeballs on the screen. So looking forward to seeing who's here. And certainly if you have any questions or any comments or insights or personal experience that you would like to share, then I would love to hear it, because the community grows and gets stronger when we all share our thoughts. So hi Alethea, hi Ronnie. So we're New South Wales, we're South Australia, we're Chris up in Townsville, we're Marianne from Canberra. Glad you made it home finally, Marianne. Jill from guess where? Down in Apollo Bay. Hopefully, Jill, it's not too cold. I must say it was an absolutely beautiful hiking in shorts and a t-shirt this morning. Brod from Launceston. We're literally all over the country. Deb from Port Macquarie. Alison, hi. Alison from Victoria. And Margie out at Whitcott. So we are literally all over. It's freezing down there in Victoria. We left at the right time. We had the great weather. I had been praying to the weather gods all week for our Great Ocean Road adventure. And it paid off, except for the last 2 hours. But hey, it was just absolutely stunning down there. So one of the things I want to share, and over the next, where are we now? Mid-June. So over the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to start sharing a little segment each week in Monday Night Live for how to know what adventure or what type of hiker you are, and how to choose a particular adventure. And we've got our showcase coming up in August, on August the 2nd, for our members, where we talk about and show you, and then the adventures are open, what the adventures are for next year. So there's still a couple of adventure spots available this year on our Port Douglas adventure, our New Zealand Coast Bush and Canyons, and our Victorian High Country. So 3 adventures left, and probably collectively about 6 spaces across all of those. And hi, Jenny from Kiama. Lovely to have you here as well. So if you're looking for adventure this year, jump into one of those, because they are fantastic. And then our showcase will have all of our adventures for next year up there. And we're slowly putting some up as expressions of interest. So this is how showcase is going to work. At the moment on the website, we're slowly dripping on, as we finalize the plans, expressions of interest for our adventures. So that states what the adventure is and the time of year that it's going. Then in mid-July, we will have all the details of the adventure on the website, including the exact dates, where we meet for that adventure. So if it's overseas, we meet in Milan, or if it's in Australia, we might meet in Canberra or wherever it might be. And it'll also have the price of the adventure on there as well. So on showcase night, we will go through all of those adventures. And if you've expressed an interest, you get first opportunity to book. If you're a member, you obviously get first opportunity. And then if you're a member who's expressed an interest in that adventure and you really want to do that one, then you get first go. But what I'm going to do before then, if you're a member and you're registered, you will get a bit of a workbook a couple of weeks out that explains, how to work out what your adventure is. And on the night, you'll get a good PDF of all of it as well. But what I'm going to do over the next 4 weeks, and if you're a member or not a member, it's a benefit to you all, is how to choose the right adventure for you. And we've got a little bit of a matrix And I know we do this in our Adventure Ready for Hiking course, which starts next Monday. So if you want to know more about that course, that 10-week online course, then just drop me a note below and I'll share a link. But just a little 5-minute each week, so not long. And certainly the course and being a member goes into much more detail, but really how to choose the right adventure for you and how to know if the gulp, I want to do that adventure, can you build yourself up to that? So that's what we're going to cover over the next 4 weeks or so, just as an end bit to our Monday Night Live. But tonight I want to talk about the importance of hike training versus hiking. And there's a huge difference because I see it quite regularly in that we can go hiking and we can have a great time, but we also need to do our hike training. And the difference between the two is quite significant because hiking is the enjoyment, is the result of effort that you put in, the great result, the successful result, the outcome that you want of putting in the training. It's like planning to do a presentation or getting up there and winging it. And sometimes winging it works, but a lot of the time it can work better if you do the preparation. Deb did the course, Adventure Ready for Hiking, and is well worth it. Thanks, Deb. Thanks for that. And it is definitely well worth it. And we were talking about hike training versus hiking this morning when we do our regular Monday hike training, Hike About in Brisbane. And what hike training does is a whole lot of things, but it really allows you to, and hi Helen, to benchmark where you're at. And you don't have to do the hike training with someone. You can do it wherever you live. And we have lots of members doing their own hike training that live on farms, that live on remote properties, that live in, non-capital cities that are doing their own hike training. But the importance of doing the hike training is that it's intense and it's focused on the elements of what you will be doing on the hike. So when you get on the hike, you want to just keep going. You want to enjoy it. You want to have the confidence and the skills and the knowledge that you own the trail, that your performance on the trail isn't going to be dictated by the surface of the trail or the incline of the trail or the weather on the day, because you've trained for all of that. You've prepared for all of that. So why do we do hike training? Why do we focus why should we focus on hike training and not just going out for a hike once a week? Now, that's really important. And hike training, you can have a plan. We can give you a plan. If you're on one of our adventures, we give you a plan. If you do our course, we build a plan together. But you can build your own plan. And if you've got tonight's newsletter, you can just make up your own plan. If you're regularly doing some activity, and it's in a routine, then that's a plan. Then start to measure and build and grow on that plan. But why should we do hike training rather than just go out for a hike once a week and consider that our hike training? Well, I've got a list of 10 things I've been working on. So the first one is that hike training will really help you enhance your cardiovascular, the way how you get out of breath, how you recover from getting out of breath. And most of us don't like getting puffed. Most of us don't like getting out of breath. We feel uncomfortable. Do we really have to do it? And then when we hike up hills, we tend to think, if we're not used to that feeling, that there's a whole lot of things wrong with us, that we need to go to the doctor and get sorted. And by all means, absolutely do that. But if you're not familiar with what that feeling of getting out of breath is like, then you are going to think there's a whole lot of different things going on. But the more we get fit in our cardio, the more we get stronger, or our muscles get stronger, the more mobility, the ability to move, and the more flexibility we have, we can go and take on longer and more challenging hikes. We're not just doing the same hike weekly, the same trail of 5 kilometers every week. We might have a footpath pattern that we do, but I'm not doing the same trail, week after week after week of 5 kilometers where there's no challenge. There's no thinking, how do I take on this obstacle? How do I maneuver that. The creek, I know, floods from time to time. There's no challenge in any of that if you're doing the same thing over and over again. So hike training, setting yourself, and it doesn't have to be in the bush, a target of, for example, I'm going to the Pyrenees on a hike in September. I live on the top of a hill. My hike training will now focus on 30 minutes around my block, down the hill, across the bottom, up the top. And when I've set myself X amount of time in 30 minutes to do that, then I might I might decide to increase my speed, or I might decide to turn the loop the other way, or I might decide to put my backpack on. That's one element of hike training that will help me when I actually go on the hike. Another reason that we do hike training is injury prevention. So this morning at Hike About, we focused on cardio. So we went up and down some stairs. We really focused on the technique for going up and down stairs. We then went downhill and then came up a steep hill on the way back. So, throwing out the comfort zone in the training means that you have the comfort zone inside you when you get on the trail. Now, if this is new news or old news, please let me know, because if it's old news, I'll stop sharing. If it's new news, or you have questions, please let me know. But hike training wherever you live is really important for when you go out on a trail, whether it's half a day, a full day, or backing it up day after day after day. And hike training is a plan around getting you fitter, cardio fit, getting you stronger, muscle strength, giving you stamina, so endurance on the trail, but also injury prevention. So when we start to specifically hike train, we can start to see where our weaknesses are. So are our weaknesses in hiking downhill? Are they, do our knees hurt when we go downhill? Are our weaknesses in our cardio when we go uphill? Are our weaknesses when we get to a certain distance and then things start to hurt? So when we put all of our stuff, ourselves under the microscope in our hike training, we start to see where those weaknesses are, which is fantastic, because it means that you can actually turn it around and use that as an opportunity to work on your hiking skills and your hiking fitness. All news is good news. Great. And Brod says having the knowledge reinforced never hurts. Thank you. I spoke about stamina as well. Hike training will give you the stamina. Just repeating, it's the whole Muhammad Ali thing. He didn't win the fight in the ring. He won the fight in the training. Do the training, and the adventure the hike takes on a whole new meaning. Hike training also helps you perfect your technique. It's knowing how to use those poles. It's knowing how to use your foot placement without having a particular destination in mind, without having to keep up with the pace of the group, without having to, make sure that you have all the right things in your pack. You're going out for hike training. It also builds your confidence that you can take on that hill, and what it feels like to get out of breath, what it feels like to recover, what it feels like to maybe be first, to maybe be last, to be scared on a steeper hill, to be used to gravel and slipperiness and not used to walking over rocks, to be used to hiking without poles as well as with poles, to be used to rock scrambling. So all of those things that enhance our technique. And when we enhance our technique and we build our strength and we our stamina and our cardio, we actually boost our confidence as well. So we can go out on that trail knowing that we have, all of these things in the bag. And when we build our strength, we also, our functional strength, we protect and preserve, we strengthen the muscles and then protect and preserve the joints that are going to hold us in good stead for when we're out on a hike. But we also know what it feels like when we've pushed our body and we come back from a hike, so that we're not going to be sore for days and days and days after, not going to be able to walk for days and days after, because we've put in the training. We've conditioned the body. We've prepared our body for a hike. And when we get to that level, we can just keep bubbling along and going up and up and up. And I know I've spoken about that before. But also when you do hike training, you get to know what works for you and what doesn't, what clothing works for you, how much weight in your backpack, whether your backpack's the right thing, But, even I know the thresholds of my training, and we were talking about this as Women's Fitness Adventures leaders today, is what do we do with our hike training, because we're out there all the time, to minimize our risk of injury, to minimize our time out, because we don't really want to take time out. What do we do on our rest and recovery days, which is part of the hike training as well? What do we do when we get a niggle in our hike training? And if we're doing the right hike training, all of this is going to show up. It's going to show up when it needs to show up and not show up on the trail, which is where it matters the most. But also when you do hike training and you set yourself a plan, you start to look for things that you might not have looked for before. You start to look for, well, if I just tweak this or I tweak that, and then you can get the knowledge from experts. You can get the knowledge from people who have done it before. You can get the good and the bad news of what works and what doesn't, and then start to adapt that in your training. You can also, in the hike training, not on a hike, not on a bunch of girls were going out for the day on a hike. That's not where you want to test and try new things. You want to test and try them all in your training. What food you can eat and you can't. What time you go to the toilet or do you not go to the toilet at all? Does that mean you're not drinking enough? Do you need food every 2 hours? Do you need electrolytes? Do you never want to have electrolytes? Are you allergic to certain things? So all of that is why we should do hike training. And I know with all of our adventurers, we give a training plan. And I know that not everyone follows that plan and across all of the adventures over the past 9 years. But I know that those who do, wherever they live, it takes your adventure from being good to great, from enduring to enjoyment. It really makes a difference. And you can do that plan wherever you are, and with whatever time you have as well. And I want everyone to note that. But hike training gives you, as I said before, that confidence. And when we have the confidence, we have the resilience. So we get the confidence in our body. And on the trail last week on the Great Ocean Road, we were all talking, we talk a lot when we're on our adventures and having a great time, is that half of the success on a trail is what happens up here. And if you could just switch that mindset around, it would make such a difference. But when we get stronger and more confident in our body and in our skills, the mindset becomes stronger. The belief in yourself becomes so much stronger. Thanks, Colette. I'm going to share Colette's post here. In hike training, practicing with poles on easy tracks so you're able to use them properly when you need them. That's exactly it. It's practicing with all of your stuff on those easy trails in the training, doing the stuff that you could do that yesterday, so take it up a little notch when you do it next on the trails, in the training, in all of those aspects. So when you do get on the track, you've got this bag of tricks up your sleeve that you can dip into. But hike training, also when you feel strong, and I know in our book club we read the book The Year of Yes. When we feel strong in ourselves, when we do the training, and even if you don't have a particular hike in mind, you can still do hike training. You can still do your fitness training. You can still do stuff if you go to the gym or find something else that makes you strong. But it also, when you become strong, it opens the doors. I just use pole all the time. It opens the doors for a whole new world when you do the training, because someone might say, your good friend might say to you, hey, Yvonne's just put this adventure up on the website for next year. I'm thinking about it. Do you want to come with me? And if you've done the hike training or know that you can do your own hike training, or you see an adventure out there somewhere in the world and go, hey, I want to do this, and you know that you can do your training, then it just opens up a whole new world. It's just such an amazing world that it will open up. So hike training is not hiking. Hike training enhances your hike. And, a hike, you're out on the trail for enjoyment, out on the trail for being in the beautiful outdoors, fully immersed, confident that you have the skills, the knowledge, the fitness to take on the trail that you've chosen to do that day. You don't want to worry about have I, did I, could I, would I, should have done this. You're actually out there on the trail and doing it. And you know your limits, you know your pace, you've trained for it, and that makes all the difference. So that's what I wanted to share tonight. So it all starts to form the basis of our leading into Showcase. So each week we're going to share some little tips about how to know if an adventure, whether that's half a day or a full day or an extended day, is the one for you, and how to assess that, and then how to prepare for that as well. And time is something, and again we spoke about this on our trail last week, that goes really fast. And if we and it speeds up. So when we think Christmas is 6 months off, it's not actually. It's 5.5 now. No, it's 6.5. That as we get closer to Christmas, those days will just go faster and faster and faster, and all of a sudden it's here. So the time to start your hike training is now. And if you don't have a hike training plan, then just write down what you do regularly, weekly, and that's a plan. And that's the place to start. So a plan is a plan is a plan, but it has to be something written down and something that you will stick to and start to improve on. So if you would like more on our to know about Showcase as a member, just go ahead and register. That's coming up on August 2nd. If you're not a member and would like to know a bit more about membership, then please just drop that in the comments below, or our Adventure Ready for Hiking course starting next Monday, which it closes on Friday, enrollments. Or you just have questions or comments, please add them in below, because they all make it a lot richer for everyone who's watching. And thank you to the first-time watchers. It's been lovely having you here. Thank you to all our members for showing up and for your comments as well. And to anyone else who's watching and hasn't shared or declared, let me just share this. Jill was on our trip last week. I find hike training is great as an added strength to your bow of life also. Getting you to step away from the laptop, absolutely, we spoke about that. Step outside and change your weekly routine a little while testing yourself. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to end now because I'm not too sure that last comment isn't spam. So I'm going to end now, but thank you for tuning in. I'll be back next Monday night, and I look forward to, and yeah, the challenge has been great too. I look forward to catching up with you next week. Thanks. Bye.